My name's Alex, and I was going to write a comment instead of leaving a video response, but it started getting a bit long. I thought, you know what, screw it. My name's Alex. I'm a 24-year-old Australian, white-ish male. I'll get to the ish later. I think the whole world is getting too politically correct, you know, especially for comedy, and I'll get to that later. Yeah, and so I think Jerry Seinfeld is onto something here. But and that said, I'm all for equality. You know, man, women, other, black, white, other, I don't fucking care. Whatever you are, that's fine. And on a side note, can we stop adding letters to LGBTQ? Something else. Just can we just assume that means everyone, whatever? Eventually we'll get to a point we won't need the acronym anymore. We'll just be people. It won't matter. And I'm getting sidetracked. But I still think racist and sexist jokes can be funny, you know? And I'm a big believer in intent is far more important than content. It's just insurmountably more important. In fact, content is completely irrelevant. Intent is the only thing that matters. For example, if I'm, driving on the road and I've got right of way, but someone thinks I cut them off or won't let them in, they call me a cunt. That's one thing. If I'm playing Mario Party or Mario Kart at a friend's place and I hit someone with a blue shell at the last second and go on to win the race and they call me a cunt, that's two completely different scenarios. One is perfectly fine. The other one, a friendship was ruined because it was Mario Kart. I kid, but the point is, it doesn't matter what was said. What matters is how it was said. You know. Then again, that's skewed by I'm going to make. Well, it's almost a racist joke. It's a stereotype, but it's actually kind of true. In Australia, it's the one country where we call strangers mates. We call our mates cunts, and that's not even a joke. You know. Now, I said whitish. It's because I'm of Greek descent, which makes me a wog. Now, it wasn't as much of an issue for my generation. It was a little bit from time to time, especially when I was very young, and I didn't know what was going on anyway. But for my parents, and more importantly my grandparents, they copped it hard. They copped it really hard. But with the release of the movie, I can't remember when, but during my generation, there's a movie called The Wog Boy. Nick Giannopoulos, he was a kid at school, and was, Wog Boy, and he's been pulling out this big Euros, this feast, or whatever. It was hilarious. And he grew up and he embraced it. Number plate and said, Wog Boy. Number plate said, Wog Boy. I hope that's the right way around. It's backwards on the screen. Whatever. The point is, it was embraced, you know, it didn't matter. You know, and I was at school, you know, I'd call my mate a dickhead, he'd call me a filthy wog, it wouldn't matter. And just a little bit more background on that. Wog, back in the day, was almost as bad as nigger. Like, not as bad, and now it's definitely not as bad. But they were similar, and I have no issue saying the word nigger. I'm not going to call someone a nigger, but they're just words. Words are words, and they're there for a reason. The point is, intent is far more important than content. It gets to the point here in Australia where we embrace these stereotypes for humour, you know? As a wog, yeah, I've got my fully sick subwoofers, mate. But they're fully sick, you know? That's like a really heavy-handed stereotype. It's an exaggeration more than anything, but that's where most stereotypes come from, you know? You have, your wogs have fully sick subwoofers, and depending on the state, maybe a Toyota Supra or like a Commodore, it depends. I'm not a fan of that being like a heavy-handed stereotype though, because plenty of people drive car. I'm getting sidetracked again. The point is, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. They're just words that we use to express things. You know, I'm fine. People making racist jokes at my expense. You know, in fact, that's what I was forgetting. There's and it pokes fun at us Australians as well. There's a flash animation back from before YouTube existed, and I'll link it in the description. And it's called The End of the World. And it's got French stereotypes, Chinese stereotypes, Australian stereotypes, British stereotypes, American stereotypes. It's great. It pokes fun at everyone, and it's hilarious. It's a great little flash animation, and it's not far off what we're worried might happen, except you replace China with North Korea. This is going on too long. I think I've covered everything. But the point is, words don't matter. The world is becoming too politically correct. We can't, be completely shit. Drawing a mental blank on that word. We can't be completely insensitive to people. That's not what I'm saying. You can't just go saying, "Oh, they're Arab, they must be terrorists." No, that's bullshit. That's being racist and prejudice. But making a joke about Muhammad over there, I know Arabs are a sticky topic at the moment, but his name could be Muhammad. It's a very common name for people of Arab descent. That's like, my surname is Papadopoulos. It's very common for people of Greek descent. It's like Smith and Jones. It's ridiculous. Yet nobody the whole time I was growing up could pronounce it. It was, Back to my point. We should be able to make racist and sexist jokes, as long as we don't mean anything by them. As long as you don't mean any offence, and you're fairly clear in that, it doesn't matter. It's really that simple. The less you know someone, the less you can make a joke at their expense. So if you're talking to someone person to person, and you've just met them, you can't make a racist joke at their expense. But, comedians, it's their job to, tell jokes, they should be allowed to make racist jokes, sexist jokes at their own expense. That's what a lot of comedy is built on. It's tragedy, or it's there to offend someone, or it's shining light on something of a stereotype that's actually kind of true. But it's a lot of racist jokes. They're actually stereotypes. They're racist jokes on stereotypes for a reason. Those stereotypes exist because of something that actually happens. It just gets exaggerated, and exaggerated to the point of humour. That's really it. I'm just repeating what I've already said now. The point is, can we stop caring? And back to that's right. I wanted to bring it back to that because there was the whole this is also about LGBTQ rights and whatever. And I'm one of those people who I'm sick of seeing shit on the TV about it. Not because I think any less of them, not because I think they shouldn't, just because I think I'm sick of seeing it. Can we get to a point in society where we don't care anymore? Someone comes out, great, good for you. Get on with your life. It's none of my business. If a friend were to come out of the closet or something, I'd just say, congratulations, I'd care. But some person I don't know, who I don't give two shits about, why should I care if they come out or not? That's my little rant of media more than anything else. It has its upsides, acclimatising people to some of these things. Like some of the other LGBTQ, whatever, people have responded to Dan. But mostly, it's like I'm sick of seeing the Kardashians. It's the same fucking thing. I really don't care. But ultimately, you want to make a racist joke at my expense? I don't care. A sexist joke at my expense? I'll laugh at it too. As long as it's funny. That was the last thing I wanted to cover. How I've remembered. This is way longer than I meant it to be. If anyone's familiar with How I Met Your Mother and Barney Stinson's The Hot Crazy Scale, I think we can apply that to humour. Except instead of hot crazy, we have humour and offensiveness. The more offensive something is, the funnier it has to be okay. I think when it comes to humour, there is no set in stone line. It's more in sand. It can blow back and forth. If something's funny enough, it doesn't matter what the joke is about, it's still funny. But if it's not a funny joke, even if it's not that offensive, you've crossed the line. And it's as simple as that. All these things are subjective, but the fact is, content is more important than intent. I sound like a kid on a debating team at school. Catch you anyway. Yeah, I'll drive the point home really hard. See you later, cunts!